pictographs, perhaps thousands more in a relatively short period of time, especially those of you who know how to work computer programs. This is me describing in my book from the previous video that you will be able to find thousands of pictographs, such as what appears on my screen as my desktop. That's right, this is my desktop. This right here, everything that you see here is my desktop. This is a picture of a Nautilus. This is the eye on the left side of the Nautilus. This is the eye on the right side, depending on your perspective. These two beads, or diadems, they're called diadems or diadems. These two sets of beads are the actual representation of what appears on a real Nautilus shell. Look it up on the encyclopedia. Look at the vertical view of a Nautilus. These pictographs appear on the $1 bill for a reason. In between the two sets of beads is a picture of a vampire cephalopod. Look it up on the internet. Look at what a vampire cephalopod looks like, and then look at this creature right here in the center of the screen. Blow it up. Look at the creature. Tell me that you can say it's not the same creature. You can't, because it's the same creature. These things were put here by an alien race of beings. They were put here by a remnant society. The Omega symbol was placed on the $1 bill to represent pictography, that the $1 bill would be the first and the last. All of this stuff is in the volume of my book, as are all of the pictures that you see before you on your screen. 130 pictures, high definition and low definition pictures in the volume of my book for you to view for 99 cents. How can you go wrong, folks? But moving past that, I am only a carpenter, and my purpose is only to make you aware of these possibilities. And I would like to state up front that my knowledge of what is actually occurring upon and within the $1 bill is limited as to what I believe it was actually intended for. I believe the $1 bill has a series of codices and actual pictures or pictographs of things that can be constructed in a three-dimensional construct. However, you need a computer program that I don't have, and I don't even know if it exists. All I know is that I'm correct, that this is far beyond the ability of mortal men. Lest we forget that all of the so-called religious experts have already explained to me that there is no way, in fact, to prove the existence of a God. I have called up every televangelist on television. I have called up almost every televangelist on radio, told them the concept to my book, told them I could prove that there is a higher power. And what do they tell me? Here's what they tell me. They tell me, after they preach that there's a God for 25 years, they tell me there's no way to prove the existence of God. You know why that is? Because they're all looking out for each other's back. That's why. They want you to believe what they say and what the other idiot on the next channel says, so that you keep feeding them money so they can keep putting fuel in their Learjets. They never want you to know the truth. The church doesn't want you to know the truth. I just wrote a book connecting the Vatican, the Catholic Church, and the Bible to the pictures on the $1 bill that nobody has come forth in 20 months. Do you see one person defying me and coming on here and proving me wrong? No, they say I'm crazy. They say I can't do this and I can't do that. But do you see an expert coming on and saying it's not possible that the Ark of the Covenant is on the front of the obverse of the $1 bill? It is possible. That's why they're not coming forward. Nobody will come forward. Nobody will debate me in a public debate. I have previously stated that includes all of the top 25 evangelist schools and television programs, with their seminar instructors and their sales rep unequivocally stating that what I want to do is impossible. They're telling me it's impossible, and yet I did it, and they won't debate me. See, they're not giving me an option, so I'll just keep making videos. However, some of them offered me options to take part in their particular Bible study programs in school so that I might become an expert and see the errors of my ways. And if you act now for a price of $925.55, you can get a 30-day trial course on Bible studies, blah, blah, blah. Like I need their Bible studies. Or you can take an advanced Bible study course on TV evangelism for a discounted price of $6,666. Or rather, $666, excuse me, and become a professional televangelist with a certificate from Satan himself and certified by the Roman Catholic Vatican Church for an additional one-time only donation of $6,666.66. That's right, folks. For $6,666, the Roman Catholic Church will certify you in televangelism. Now, please make cool checks payable to the Church of Rome, the great harlot. This was in my book years before it came out that the Church of Rome was a harlot. It wasn't published, but I had this down in the 80s. And remember, we are directly affiliated with all governments, and all your contributions are tax deductible. In other words, the Church and the Roman Catholic Vatican and all other churches are directly associated to the governments because it's a scam, folks. The government don't charge the church taxes. The sissies and the dresses get to live some fantastic lifestyle of the rich and famous. The people pay taxes to the government. The sissies and the dresses don't pay taxes. They live like kings. The people in the government live like kings. We live like animals. And the church doesn't revolt against the government for making war. And the government doesn't revolt against the church for believing in different gods. There can only be one God. I have shown you in the volume of my book that there can only be one God. All the other pictographs and pictography that relate to the different gods, it's a codex to prove that there are thousands of different gods, 33 on the $1 bill alone, and only one of them can be correct, and that one is the central portion of the mercy seat, which says, "In God we trust one." Which one is up to you through a spirituality that you have to come to. Like in my book, I describe what the words in a book called Cosmic Consciousness by R.M. Buck mean. It means a spiritual illumination. When you get to that level of spiritual illumination, you can be and make the determination of what God is. Before that, you have to listen to these sissies and dresses, the pedophiles that are going around protecting the other pedophiles. Over 4,000 cases of pedophilia have been reported against the Roman Catholic Church in the last 5 years. You think it's a coincidence that not one priest has been excommunicated? They're sticking it up the poop shoots of the American people. They're giving it to you. Fukushima proper, folks. The Roman Catholic Church. Fukushima world. Fukushima America. Fukushima to you. Now, the webbing on the $1 bill has to do with mapping and plane geometry. The webbing on the $1 bill has to do with something called cartographic mapping and plane geometry. However, what you are about to discover is that this webbing is more complex than any science we have achieved, even up until present day. And that includes the most sophisticated of NASA's computers in the mapping of the stars. That's right, folks. To this day, we still don't have a computer that could make 3,300 pictographs on the obverse and reverse of the $1 bill. With the addition, of when I shined a light through the reverse of the $1 bill in what I call backlighting, that I used this special piece of cardboard for, and when I made this backlighting, and now when I shine the light through it, as you see on your screen, you can see objects through the bill. This forms an entirely new dimension, folks. It forms a dimension of sight and pictographs unknown to this world, to anyone except Michael Fazio. I am the first person in the history of the planet Earth to show you in my book the pictures with the backlighting that show you that when you transpose or when you place light behind the bill, things are transposed through the bill as if they take on an entirely new function. For instance, the seal of the Federal Reserve Bank becomes a star, spoken about earlier. The word one, which represents Jesus Christ, now represents George Washington. It's in the